honest with you, I'm tired of being disrespected. So there was no question I was going to play this year.
We are now the Las Vegas Raiders.
Welcome into Vegas Nation Blitz. I am your host, Cassie Soto. It was a historic weekend for the Raiders as they made their debut as Las Vegas's newest professional sports team, coming up with a 34-30 win over the Carolina Panthers. Our very own Vinny Bonsignore was there in Charlotte for week one. Vinny, I just need to get your thoughts on what it was like seeing the Las Vegas Raiders take the field for the first time, and second, what it was like experiencing that moment with no fans, an empty stadium.
Yeah, seeing the Las Vegas Raiders take the field, that was obviously a very cool moment. I know that a lot of people have been waiting for that for a long time, 4 years, basically 3 years since they were okayed to move to Las Vegas, and it's been a long wait. They're here. Unfortunately, it's without fans. That's the bummer part of all of this. And you definitely felt that. Just walking up to the stadium, walking throughout the stadium, there's an old Twilight Zone called Where Is Everybody? And that's kind of how I felt, because you're looking at activation areas and concession stands that would normally be just thriving with people. And, you didn't smell beer in the air, and that's a distinctive smell or aroma of a stadium. That's just the reality of it. So none of that was there. And that's kind of a downer. But, as the show must go on, we got to do our jobs. The players have to do their jobs. And it was very interesting watching all that play out. For whatever reason, and I talked to a couple of players, since Sunday, and they didn't notice much crowd noise. So I don't know if the Carolina Panthers just didn't do that, or if the NFL sound recommendations or policy makes it so that it's not going to be real noticeable. But at least in their case, they didn't really notice it.
Yeah, so fake crowd noise, of course, pumped in. And John Gruden, head coach, was asked about that. And he said he didn't really notice it as well, but he did notice Derek Carr with a certain audible that took him by surprise.
Well, that's pretty normal for him. Unfortunately for me, I could never hear him until yesterday. So I don't know what he's been up to at the line of scrimmage, but better keep my wife out of it from now on.
Well, Vinny, does Derek Carr have to watch his back there? He said, keep my wife's name out of your mouth, or is coach just playing around a little bit?
Sounds like Derek has some splaining to do to John Gruden. No, I think it was all in fun. They get pretty creative. I heard some of what they were doing during training camp, and they could get pretty hilarious in what the codes that they're using for for the audibles, and anything is likely to come out of the quarterback's mouth. But it looks like you might have to take that one out, Derek.
Well, this was a huge win, of course, Vinny, but unfortunately it did not come without some injuries. Can you please give us an injury update?
Yeah, not much of an update at this point. Trent Brown obviously left with a calf injury. He had been dealing with that, all throughout training camp, basically, or at least to our knowledge, because that's what the injury was when the injury report came out officially last week. So we're going to assume that that's what he's been dealing with throughout training camp. Disconcerting that he only lasted 3 plays and then had to leave the game with that injury. So we'll have to monitor that. That's a big loss if it's going to be any extended period of time. The big injury was Nick Kwiatkowski, the linebacker that the Raiders signed, a big part of their defense. He was having a big game until he got hurt. It was a pectoral injury. The good news is it doesn't look like it's a tear. And anytime you tear a muscle, then that's extended period of time, if not a whole season missing. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case, but we don't know yet how long he will be out, if he's out at all.
All right. Well, another player that got a little banged up was rookie receiver Henry Ruggs. Vinny, before I get your thoughts on that, let's hear from him on what happened.
I just got tackled a little awkward. I feel pretty good. It's just something that comes with the game. It's a game of football. It's a physical game. So kind of went down a little crazy, but I'll be all right.
Well, Vinny, I'm sure Raiders fans took a collective sigh of relief when they saw him come back on the field. But just your thoughts there. You obviously saw it happen. What did you notice when you saw Ruggs limping off the field?
Yeah, he just, it looked obviously like a leg injury, a lower leg injury. And anytime that happens to any player, especially a wide receiver, that's a little bit concerning. One thing that, you talk to anybody that's played with Henry, coached Henry in the past, this dude's a tough hombre. And I think he won some points by coming back out of the locker room at halftime and coming and playing in the second half, even though he didn't do much statistically. Where we were watching from the press box, you can see the presence that he creates and how defenses have to account for that and what it means for his teammates. So even though he wasn't catching the ball, he was still being a factor and an impact in that game, with the injury, whatever, it looks like it's going to be okay. But just to come out there and play, that's what other teammates want to see. And he certainly did that.
Vinny, appreciate the updates as always.
All right, you got it. Thanks, Cassie.
In other news, the Raiders announced that former coach Tom Flores will take part in the team's radio broadcast Monday night against the Saints. Indianapolis Colts running back Marlon Mack will miss the rest of the season after tearing his Achilles tendon Sunday against the Jaguars. And Tom Brady threw 2 interceptions in his first game with Tampa Bay as the Buccaneers lost 34-23 to the New Orleans Saints. For our weekly Raiders social media update, here's Las Vegas Review-Journal sports journalist Leandre Fox. Dre, can you please tell us which Raiders player celebrated his birthday with a historic Raiders win?
Yeah, Cass, I don't know about you. I don't know what you did for your last birthday, but I don't think anything that I did for my last birthday even comes close to the magnitude of playing in the first ever game for the Las Vegas Raiders and coming out with a win. So happy birthday to tight end Darren Waller, who was Derek Carr's favorite target on the day. 6 catches, 45 yards. That's a pretty good birthday.
Right. Well, he celebrated his birthday alongside his teammates, and the teammate that really took off was running back Josh Jacobs, coming up huge for his team. Can you just recap that big win and that big day for him?
Yeah, so Darren Waller had that good birthday, but Josh Jacobs was obviously the man on the day. He scored the very first touchdown for the Las Vegas Raiders. Another historic moment. 93 yards, 3 touchdowns, also had 4 catches for 46 yards. Josh Jacobs, have a day.
Well, that couldn't have come without quarterback Derek Carr. Of course, he took to his own Instagram page and was just really excited about the win for his team.
Derek Carr starting the season off right. 22 of 30, 239 yards, 1 touchdown on that nice 23-yard bomb to Nelson Aguilar over there on the rookie corner for the Carolina Panthers, Troy Pride. Pretty good day for Derek Carr out there. And Cass, for the 4th time since 1970, the Raiders did not surrender a sack in their season opener. So it was also a pretty good day for that car insurance company, that old line up there.
Well, of course, a huge day for the Las Vegas Raiders and also a big day for head coach John Gruden leading his guys to victory. He gave a post-game locker room speech where he was just really fired up, talking to his guys, a very emotional speech.
Yeah, Gruden is always very fiery, and I don't think I could do him any justice. So let's hear from Chucky himself.
Hey, we delivered, man. Our first win in the history of Las Vegas. Whoa! Game balls for everybody. Game balls. We're going to have to win some shootouts here and there. Yes? I don't want anybody to even blink. Next week it might be 10-9. We're going to have to get better. We got to get better. We know what it's all about. This was tough. We lose Trent Brown. We lose our other tackle. We lose Quint. We lose Ruggs. We keep what? Fighting. We're on a mission. Hey, I love you guys. Congratulations. Game balls for everybody. Learn from this.
Well, there you have it again, a 34-30 victory over the Panthers week 1 for the Las Vegas Raiders. Dre, thank you so much.
Thanks, Cass, and game balls for all of the Vegas Nation crew.
I wish. Stay with us, fans. We will be right back with more. In the 2016 season opener against the Saints, who caught the winning 2-point conversion? Was it A, Amari Cooper, B, Michael Crabtree, C, Latavius Murray, or D, Seth Roberts? Welcome back to Vegas Nation Blitz. I am your host, Cassie Soto. Joining me this week is the Las Vegas Review-Journal sports columnist, the one, the only, Mr. Ed Graney. Ed, great to have you.
How are you, Cassie?
I am great. Thank you so much. Ed, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let's start with a little bit of a recap from week one. The Raiders obviously coming up with a big win, 34-30 over the Panthers. Ed, we've known for quite some time now that the Raiders needed to score more points in order to win ball games, and it looks like they're off to a good start so far.
Yeah, absolutely. The last 3 years, they have not averaged 20 points a game. That's not very good. It's not going to win games in the NFL. So to get 34 the first week was huge, and I think the difference was, last year they were not good in the red zone converting to touchdowns. They 20-20, they'd be great. They couldn't get touchdowns when they were in the red zone. This against Carolina, 3 of the 4 times they were in the red zone, they scored touchdowns. The other play to Witten didn't go, so they kicked the field goal. So they scored each time they were in the red zone, at least with possessions. That's huge, and you have to do that if you're going in the NFL. If they can continue with that kind of percentage scoring touchdowns, I think they'll be in most games this year.
Well, switching gears now to the defensive side of the ball, just ask it plain and simple. Where was the pressure, Ed?
Wasn't there, and they better fix it because that Carolina offensive line is not one of the best when you start ranking offensive lines. If you can only get 1 sack against them, Hurst and Nassib had a half a sack each, you better get better. Because here's the thing. They're young in the back end and the secondary. So if you don't get push up front, you're really leaving, Damon Arnett and Trayvon Mullen and these guys, even as well as Jonathan Abram played, he's still a second-year guy, out to dry. They better get some push. It's hard to blitz when you have a young secondary. They didn't blitz as much. One time they did blitz. Arnett got caught there on a hold, and then they went for 75 for a touchdown. So they better start pressuring, starting with this week. If you don't pressure Drew Brees and make him a little uncomfortable, I don't care if Michael Thomas has got an ankle or not. If he's 75%, he's better than most people. So they better get some pressure on Brees. And in the coming weeks against Mahomes and even Brady, who didn't look great, but it's Brady, they've got to start getting pressure on quarterbacks.
Well, definitely a good win for the Raiders to start off the season, but obviously some things to fix. So let's go ahead now to Monday's game. You mentioned it, Drew Brees, the future Hall of Famer, coming into Allegiant Stadium, the debut of Allegiant Stadium. Ed, just how big of a moment will this be, again, for Las Vegas, for the Raiders?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, look, it's Monday Night Football, the biggest night in the regular season each week. It's too bad. We're going to say this over and over and over all year that there won't be fans. There will be outside shots of the stadium, I'm sure, shots of the strip. They'll do as much as they can to bring in the flavor of Las Vegas. Obviously, inside they'll show with the game. So it is too bad there's no fans. It's still a huge moment when you're on Monday Night Football as a team, the new team in Las Vegas. And to win, they have to defend better. I think they can score. Although they're about to play a better defense in the Saints than they did in the Panthers, but they need to defend in a way that they didn't the other day, and you don't want Drew Brees sitting back there. He's the best at getting the ball out quickly. They're going to have to find a way to disrupt him. If not, it's going to be a tough game to win. I think, for our sake in town, I think maybe New Orleans opened 5.5 as a favorite. That might go up a little if you watch the Raiders play defense the other day, so we'll have to see where the number lies, but they have to defend better, Cassie, if they're going to win the game.
All right, the debut, again, of Allegiant Stadium, Monday, September 21st. Ed, thank you so much.
Thanks, Cass. See you later.
Once again, that was Las Vegas Review-Journal sports columnist Ed Graney. We are going to take a quick break, but be sure to stay with us. The answer is B. Michael Crabtree. With less than a minute left, Derek Carr threw a 10-yard touchdown pass to Seth Roberts and then found Crabtree for 2 as the Raiders won 35-34.
Welcome back to the Vegas Nation Blitz. It's your host here, Heidi Fang, and I'm joined with our NFL writer and Raiders writer as well, Adam Hill. We're going to go around the horn here with the AFC West and talk about what we saw here in Week 1. Adam, what stood out to you in Week 1 with the AFC West?
Well, I think the Chiefs, first of all, stand out because they're the defending Super Bowl champion. They're the team you're watching. They were on prime time here Thursday night to get the season started. What you saw is kind of what you expected. I mean, the Chiefs are probably the best team in the league right now. Everybody expects them to be near the top and in contention to go to the Super Bowl. But there was a lot of sloppy moments for the Chiefs. Just like a lot of teams this weekend, they didn't look fully in tune with each other. I thought there was moments where, Mahomes didn't look his best. There were some balls that came out of his hand a little funny. But they're the Chiefs, and they found a way to win, and win pretty convincingly. So I don't think there's any concern there coming out of that game. And then you take a look at the Chargers. They get a victory as well on the road against Cincinnati. Wasn't the most impressive victory. Really, really solid defensively. You only imagine what they could have been like with Derwin James, even better on the defensive side. And then an efficient offense. Last year, the Chargers had a really good defense, but all too often they turned the ball over and put their defense in bad spots. That's not happening right now. It's an efficient offense. It's not an explosive offense, but it is one that just, they keep the ball, get a couple first downs, they score when they have to. That's a different dynamic for this Chargers team, so certainly one to watch going forward.
I have to ask another question here on the youth movement with the AFC West. There's a lot of teams here that are getting younger. Who out of those players stood out to you?
You got Clyde Edwards-Helaire with Kansas City, obviously the first-round pick. It worked out very well for them because in the end, Damian Williams ends up opting out, so they need a running back. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is that guy. Put up a lot of yards on the ground, and I think a lot of people just got caught up in that, say, hey, wow, he scored, he put up 130 yards. That's really good. But I thought there were some concerns. He wasn't on the field very often in passing downs. He only got 2 targets, no catches. I don't know that they trust him fully yet. And if you can't pass protect, you're not going to be on the field for the Kansas City Chiefs with Pat Mahomes back there in the backfield with you. So that's something to watch, I think. Yeah, he's great on the ground, but if he can't be in there in passing downs, that is a different type of player for the Chiefs.
All right now, everybody, make sure to stay tuned as we strap in here for Raiders history. We're going to take a moment and look back on one of the Raider greats, Jim Otto, right now in this moment in Raiders history. Raiders center Jim Otto was one of the first to be a part of the team and left behind a legacy that any player will have a hard time matching. Otto was originally drafted to the Minnesota franchise, an AFL expansion team in 1960 that moved to the NFL. So Oakland became the 8th franchise brought into the AFL, and Otto's rights defaulted to the Raiders. The Wisconsin native played his entire NFL career with the Raiders. In 15 seasons, he never missed a game. He played 210 consecutive games and is still in the NFL's top 10 for the most consecutive starts by a player. In the AFL's 10-year history, he was one of 3 men who played a snap in each of the team's 140 regular season games. He was selected to play in the Pro Bowl, which started in 1961 and was known then as the All-Star Game, 12 times. Otto was one of only 20 players to play for the entire 10 years of the American Football League's existence. He was part of the 1967 Raiders that won the AFL championship against the Oilers. Otto was also the last of the inaugural 1960 team to retire and was elected into the Pro Football Hall of Fame on the first year he became eligible in 1980. In 2007, Otto paid the price for the wars that he had waged on the gridiron. His right leg was amputated after close to 70 knee surgeries. Jim Otto is now 82 years old. And that'll do it for this moment in Raiders history. We'll be back next week.
Welcome back to Vegas Nation Blitz. Cassie Soto and Mick Akers here inside of the Raider Image store. Mick, it's our first look here. It's incredible. You can see behind us, we've got animatronic players. We've got just about everything you can buy with the Raider shield on it. Mick, your initial impressions walking in this store?
Yeah, it's massive. It's 18,000 square feet. Pretty much anything you want, from a keychain to a $12,000 crystallized helmet, everything in between. You walk in, you see these nice open layout, a lot of Raiders history in here, so some new fans could come in and get a little history lesson as well and shop at the same time. So pretty cool, adding that little Hall of Fame over there as well. So a little bit for everyone.
All right, so you just mentioned it there, a $12,000 helmet around here somewhere, but what are we hearing as the most purchased, the most popular items right now?
Yeah, so the 2020 draft hat was one of the major hits, and obviously with the COVID going on right now, they got these masks here, 3-pack for $25, so not bad. You rock around with the silver and black while protecting others and yourself, so that's pretty cool. And obviously their jerseys are a big hit. They said with the season kicking off, some of the young players' jerseys are trying to go up, especially, Jacobs, he's had that big game, so obviously that, and then Ruggs as well. So, just jerseys, hats, and the masks right now, the big sellers right now.
Well, this store is massive, of course. It officially opened on Wednesday to the public, but there's still going to be, obviously we're following COVID here, so not everybody is allowed to be packed in here. What do we know about the COVID restrictions here when you want to shop at the Raider Image?
Right, of course, masks, you got to wear masks, 75-person limit, obviously 18,000 square feet, that's not going to be packed at all, so that's, very safe as well. They have hand sanitizing stations all throughout the store. Obviously, the staff's going to be, making sure everyone's social distancing and such, so, safe atmosphere, from day one. And obviously, they're not going to be open on game days. That's the only day they're not going to be open.
Right, well, you just said it. They're not open on game days, unfortunately, for you fans at home, but it is open 7 days a week, besides game days, from 11 to 7, Mick. We talk about the history of the Raiders and how the Raiders have brought that. Can we just reiterate a little bit again? Or I'm seeing them here off screen, the former players' jerseys, the Hall of Fame. Why is it important, again, for the Raiders, who have strong ties in Oakland and Los Angeles, to bring that history here to Las Vegas?
Yeah, the fans always say there's only one nation, the Raider Nation. So, when they move around LA, Oakland, and now Vegas, they still have a passionate fan base. Their fan base goes around the world. So, having, some of these former player jerseys, lets them bring their past into the future. And also, some of the new fans, maybe they don't know who the greats are yet. They can come in and say, hey, who's 34 Jackson, obviously Bo Jackson, and then they have the Hall of Fame, and it looks like it's interactive as well, so you can kind of, get a history lesson over there at the Hall of Fame, and once you see that, you can go and buy the player's jersey as well.
Right. Well, one more thing on customization. You can customize your own jersey here inside of the Raider Image store. What do we know about that, and how neat of a feature is that?
Yeah, they have 2 kiosks here, so you can go and customize with name, jersey number, and white or black jersey, and then you can do it on the kiosk, and then you go around and shop, and they'll make it for you while you're in the store.
And I believe it's $25 for that, right?
Yeah, I think it was extra $20. So, whatever the cost of the jersey you want to put it on, and then the customization on that.
Unfortunately, we'll be open on game days, but it is officially open as of Wednesday to the public. Mick, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
All right, that will do it for Mick and myself and for this episode of Vegas Nation Blitz. But we hope you tuned in last week for our first ever episode of Vegas Nation Game Day. We'll be back again this Sunday at 9 a.m. And we will also be back with a special show on Monday at 4 p.m. for the kickoff of the official debut of Allegiant Stadium, the Raiders taking on the Saints Monday night. Once again, we have 2 shows, Sunday at 9 a.m. and Monday at 4 p.m. Cox Your View, Channel 14. Thank you so much for watching Vegas Nation Blitz. For our Vegas Nation crew, I'm Cassie Soto. We'll see you then.